Sunny Acres was the kind of neighborhood where lawns were greener than envy and mailboxes stood at regulation height. At its heart reigned Karen, the HOA president, a plump dynamo in a red tracksuit, her short blonde hair bobbing like a warning beacon. She ruled with an iron clipboard, fining residents for unapproved garden gnomes or slightly off-white fences. Nobody dared cross her, until Mike moved in. Mike, a lanky tech bro with a shiny Tesla, arrived on Maple Drive, blissfully unaware of Karen's reign. His electric car, sleek and silver, hummed faintly as he parked it. To Karen, waddling by with her morning power walk, that hum was a declaration of war. "What is that racket?" she squawked, clutching her coffee mug like a grenade. Her hearing aids, perpetually glitchy, amplified the Tesla's whisper into a monster truck roar. By noon, she'd convinced herself Mike was running a drag racing ring. That evening, the HOA meeting buzzed in the community center, a beige box smelling of stale donuts. Karen stormed in, red sneakers squeaking. "Order!" she bellowed, slamming her gavel. The crowd, mostly retirees and one sleepy dog, jumped. "We have a crisis," she declared, pointing at a blurry photo of Mike's Tesla. "This new guy, Mike, is blasting noise pollution. His car sounds like a demolition derby." Sigh. Betty, her loyal sidekick in a matching red visor, gasped theatrically. The dog yawned. Mike, slouched in the back, raised an eyebrow. He'd come to introduce himself, not to be accused of sonic terrorism. My Tesla's electric," he said, voice calm as a yoga instructor. "It's practically silent." Karen's eyes narrowed. "Don't gaslight me, mister. I heard it roaring." The crowd murmured, torn between fear of Karen and curiosity about this chill newcomer. Betty scribbled, "Fine him," in her notepad. Karen's crusade gained steam. She cited Rule 47B, "No vehicle shall disrupt the peace." Never mind that the rule was meant for Harleys, not whisper-quiet EVs. "We'll measure the decibels," she vowed, though she had no idea what a decibel was. The meeting ended with a vote, 12-1, to investigate Mike's noise machine. The lone dissenter was Jake, Mike's teenage nephew, who muttered, "This is so dumb," while filming Karen's rant on his phone. Mike walked home, bemused. He liked Sunny Acres, its tidy streets, its quirky neighbors. But Karen? She was a Category 5 hurricane in polyester. At his house, Jake was sprawled on the couch, editing his video. "Dude, she's unhinged," Jake said, showing Mike a clip of Karen yelling about Tesla terrorists. Mike chuckled. "She's wrong, but she's loud about it. Let's figure out why she thinks my car's a jet engine." As Mike tinkered with his Tesla's settings, Karen plotted. She taped a $200 fine to Mike's door, citing excessive vehicular disturbance. The note, written in red Sharpie, demanded he attend a noise hearing tomorrow. Mike read it, shook his head, and turned to Jake. "Kid, we need a plan. This lady's gonna wake the whole county before she admits she's wrong." Across the street, Karen peered through her blinds, clutching her binoculars. "He's scheming," she hissed to Betty, who nodded like a bobblehead. "We'll catch him in the act." Karen's red tracksuit glowed under the streetlights as she scribbled more fines. The neighborhood braced for war, and Mike's Tesla, silent as a ninja, sat innocently in the driveway. Tomorrow, the battle would begin. Mike woke to the sound of his Tesla's app pinging. Someone had tripped the car's sentry mode. He checked the footage and grinned. There was Karen, in her red sweatband glory, circling his car at dawn, muttering about illegal engines. She'd even poked the bumper, triggering the alarm. "Gotcha," Mike said, saving the clip. If Karen wanted a noise war, he'd fight with facts. Jake, slurping cereal, had ideas. "Let's tail her," he said, eyes gleaming like a junior detective. Mike, ever the cool uncle, agreed. They needed to know why Karen thought a Tesla sounded like a monster truck. Armed with Jake's phone and a bag of Doritos, they staked out Karen's house. A beige fortress with a live, laugh, love sign and a suspiciously unapproved pink flamingo. Karen's day was a masterclass in chaos. She yelled at a kid's scooter, "Too squeaky," shooed a bird, "Stop chirping," and lectured a lawnmower guy for decibel crimes. Jake filmed it all, narrating like a wildlife doc. Here, the wild Karen attacks her natural enemy, sound. Mike noticed her flinch at every noise, clutching her ears. "Her hearing aids," he whispered. "Bet they're amplifying everything wrong." Meanwhile, Karen was on her own mission. She and Betty, armed with a dollar store decibel meter, prowled Maple Drive. Karen was sure Mike's Tesla was the culprit behind her sleepless nights. "It's those electric gizmos," she told Betty, who nodded while sneaking a cookie. Karen spotted Mike's car and crept closer, misinterpreting its fart mode, a prank sound Mike had tested, as proof of her theory. "See? It's a menace," she crowed, though the sound was just a one-off. Back at Mike T's house, Jake uploaded his Karen montage to Youtobe, captioning it, "HOA Karen versus Reality." It racked up 500 views by lunch, mostly neighbors chuckling at her squirrel rant. Mike, meanwhile, dug into Tesla forums. "Some EVs hum faintly at low speeds," he read. "Barely audible unless you're like a bat." Or, he thought, someone with wonky hearing aids. He called a buddy, an audiologist, to confirm. Cheap hearing aids could distort soft sounds into roars. Karen's next move was bold. She announced a noise patrol for tomorrow, rallying the HOA to catch Mike's Tesla in the act. Flyers in red Comic Sans flooded mailboxes. "Stop the Tesla terror. Join us." Betty, ever loyal, stapled them to telephone poles, ignoring Rule 19C against public postings. The neighborhood buzzed. Some sided with Karen, others with Mike. Old Mr. Jenkins, who hated Karen's fines, slipped Mike a thumbs up. Mike and Jake planned their counterattack. "She wants noise? Let's give her silence," Mike said. He tweaked his Tesla's settings to minimize its hum, ensuring it was quieter than a librarian's whisper. Jake, inspired, suggested recording ambient sounds, like Karen's own yelling, to compare with the Tesla's noise. "Genius," Mike said, high-fiving him. They tested the car in the driveway, rolling silently past a napping cat. "Karen's gonna lose it," Jake cackled. As dusk fell, Karen held an emergency HOA huddle in her garage. "Tomorrow, we expose Mike," she declared, waving her decibel meter like a sword. Betty, munching another cookie, mumbled agreement, but cracks were showing. Mr. Jenkins skipped the meeting, and even the dog from Chapter 1 looked bored. Karen didn't notice. She was too busy imagining her victory, her red tracksuit practically glowing with purpose. Mike, watching from his porch, smirked. "She's digging her own grave," he told Jake. The kid nodded, uploading another clip. Karen versus the squirrel, now at 2,000 views. Tomorrow's patrol would be a circus, and Mike was ready to steal the show. The noise patrol descended on Maple Drive like a suburban SWAT team. Karen led the charge, red visor blazing, her decibel meter dangling from a lanyard. Betty trailed with a clipboard, and a dozen HOA members shuffled behind, some just there for the free coffee. Mike's Tesla gleamed in his driveway, silent as a statue. Karen pointed at it like a prosecutor. "That's the beast," she bellowed. The crowd murmured, skeptical but curious. Mike, leaning on his porch with Jake, was ready. He'd spent the morning rigging his Tesla for maximum trolling. Its external speaker, usually for pedestrian alerts, was loaded with a playlist of absurd car sounds. Think V8 growls and cartoon honks. Jake, filming as always, whispered, "This is gonna be epic." Mike winked, Let's give Karen the noise she's begging for. Karen kicked off the demo with a speech. "This Tesla's been terrorizing us," she cried, her voice louder than any car. She waved her decibel meter, which beeped randomly, confusing everyone. "I'll prove it's louder than a rock concert." The crowd exchanged looks. Rock concert? Really? Mr. Jenkins, sipping coffee, muttered, "She's lost it." Betty, loyal but flustered, dropped her clipboard. Mike seized his moment. "Mind if I show you how quiet it is?" he asked, all innocence. Karen scoffed, but waved him on, sure he'd fail. Mike climbed into the Tesla, started it silently, and rolled it forward. The crowd leaned in, expecting a roar. Instead, nothing, just the crunch of gravel under tires. Karen's face twitched. "That's a trick," she snapped. "Crank it up." Mike obliged, but not how she expected. He tapped his phone, and the Tesla's speaker blared a comically loud "Vroom!" The crowd jumped, then laughed. Karen, thinking she'd won, shouted, "See, I told you!" But Mike switched the sound to a clown car honk, then a cartoonish beep, beep. The HOA roared with laughter. Even Betty giggled, earning a glare from Karen. Karen's meltdown was glorious. "This is sabotage," she screeched, her hearing aids squealing. That's when Betty, trying to help, blurted, "Maybe it's your hearing aids, Karen." The crowd gasped. Karen froze, her red tracksuit suddenly feeling like a spotlight. Jake's camera caught every second, his Youtobe live stream hitting 5,000 views. "Busted," he whispered. Mike, ever the diplomat, offered a truce. "Let's test it fairly," he said. "Karen, you tell us what you hear." He drove the Tesla again, this time with no speaker tricks. The car glided silently, but Karen, flustered, insisted it sounded like a jet taking off. The crowd, now openly mocking her, started chanting, "Test the aids! Test the aids!" Mr. Jenkins led the cheer, spilling his coffee. Karen's authority crumbled. She tried to rally, citing Rule 47B, but nobody listened. Jake's live stream showed neighbors posting laughing emojis, and a local news van even pulled up, sniffing a viral story. Mike, sensing victory, parked the Tesla and stepped out, hands raised like a peacemaker. "I just want a quiet neighborhood," he said, earning cheers. Karen, cornered, stormed off, vowing revenge. But the damage was done. Betty, guilt-ridden, whispered to Mike, "Her aids are from a shady online ad. They make my TV sound like a chainsaw." Mike nodded, gears turning. The crowd dispersed, buzzing about Karen's flop. Jake's video hit 1,000 views, with comments like, "HOA Karen, it was legendarily wrong." As the sun set, Mike and Jake fist-bumped on the porch. "One more push," Mike said. "Tomorrow we end this." Karen, sulking in her garage, ripped up her flyers, her red sneakers kicking a trash can. The Tesla, silent as ever, waited for its final act. Morning broke over Sunny Acres, and Maple Drive was a circus. Jake's Youtobe had hit 5,000 views, and neighbors gathered like it was a block party. Karen, in her reddest tracksuit yet, stood defiant, clutching a megaphone. She'd called an emergency noise tribunal to save face, but the crowd wasn't buying it. Mike, sipping coffee, had a plan to bury her complaint for good. Karen's megaphone blared. "This Tesla's a menace, and I'll prove it," she declared, ignoring last night's disaster. Her hearing aids, still faulty, made her wince at her own voice. Betty, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else, held a sign. "Say no to noise." Mr. Jenkins, now Team Mike, heckled, "Say no to bad hearing aids." The crowd snickered. Mike stepped forward, all charm. "Let's settle this," he said. "A blindfold test. Karen listens, I drive. She guesses the noise." The crowd roared approval. Karen, cornered, agreed, muttering about Tesla trickery. Jake, filming, handed her a sleep mask. "No peeking, Karen," he teased. She shot him a death glare but tied it on, her blonde bob quivering. Mike prepped the Tesla, ensuring it was in stealth mode. 0 hum, 0 speaker. He drove it 20 feet, silent as a ghost. The crowd held its breath. Karen, blindfolded, flailed her arms. "It's a jet engine," she yelled. The crowd howled. Mike drove again, still silent. "Now it's a freight train," Karen shrieked. Even Betty covered her face, mortified. Jake's live stream hit 100,000 views, with emojis flooding the screen. Mike upped the ante. He parked the Tesla and had Jake crank a bike bell nearby. Karen, still blindfolded, screamed, "That's the Tesla!" The crowd lost it. Mr. Jenkins doubled over, and the news van's cameraman zoomed in. Mike, grinning, removed Karen's blindfold. "Karen, that was a bike. My car hasn't made a sound." Her face went as red as her tracksuit. The neighbors, done with her reign, started chanting, "Fix the AIDS! Fix the AIDS!" Betty, breaking ranks, confessed, "I told her to get them checked, but she bought them off a pop-up ad." Karen's megaphone dropped. Jake's video, now viral, got picked up by a local news blog with headlines like, "HOA, Karen hears Phantom Tesla." Comments poured in. "She needs a refund and an apology." Mike, sensing the kill shot, offered Karen an out. "Get your hearing aids fixed, and I'll drop the whole thing," he said. "We all want a quiet neighborhood." The crowd clapped, loving his grace. Karen, humiliated, muttered, "Fine," and stomped off, her megaphone dragging. Betty trailed, whispering apologies to Mike. "She's not all bad," Betty said. Mike nodded, unconvinced but kind. By afternoon, Jake's video was on every neighbor's phone, and Sunny Acres buzzed with rebellion. HOA members, fed up with Karen's fines, started a petition to limit her power. Mr. Jenkins slipped Mike a beer, saying, "You're the hero we needed." Mike laughed. "Just wanted to park my car in peace." Karen, holed up in her beige fortress, scrolled through the viral comments, each one a dagger. Her hearing aids, now in a drawer, mocked her. She booked an audiologist appointment, grumbling. The Tesla, silent in Mike's driveway, had won. But Mike wasn't done. He had one last idea to seal the peace, and maybe even get Karen to chill. As night fell, Jake edited his final Youtobe cut, adding a remix of Karen's jet engine rant. "This is my Super Bowl," he told Mike. The neighborhood, still buzzing, waited for the finale. Karen's reign was cracking, and Mike's Tesla was the quietest victor in HOA history. A week after the Tesla takedown, Sunny Acres felt lighter, like the neighborhood had exhaled. Karen's reign of red tracksuits and rogue fines was fading, and Mike's silent Tesla was the talk of the block. Jake's Youtobe, now at 5,000 views, had landed a cameo on the local news, with a perky anchor calling it the HOA showdown of the century. Mike, ever chill, just wanted to grill some burgers and move on. Karen, meanwhile, had slunk to an audiologist. Her new hearing aids, proper ones, not sketchy online junk, revealed a world of actual sounds. The Tesla's faint hum? Gone. Birds chirping? Annoying but real. Her own voice? Way too loud. She sat in her beige living room, staring at her live, laugh, love sign, grappling with defeat. Betty, popping by with cookies, urged her to make nice. "Mike's not the enemy," Betty said. Karen grunted, but she was listening. Mike, sensing a chance for peace, planned an HOA barbecue. He sent invites to every neighbor, including Karen, with a note. "Let's bury the hatchet. Burgers on me." The neighborhood RSVP'd in droves, eager for free food and the end of drama. Jake, now a local legend, designed a banner. "Sunny Acres, where Teslas whisper and we all win." Mike chuckled. "Kid, you're too much." Barbecue day was peak suburbia. Kids ran through sprinklers. Mr. Jenkins manned the playlist, and the smell of grilled meat wafted over Maple Drive. Mike's Tesla, parked proudly, drew curious neighbors who marveled at its silence. Karen really thought this was a jet? One asked. Jake, flipping burgers, played his Youtobe remix for laughs. The crowd cheered, but Mike hushed them. Let's keep it kind, he said. Karen's arrival was the main event. She shuffled in, no red tracksuit, just a subdued red blouse, her blonde bob less aggressive. The crowd hushed. She approached Mike, who handed her a soda. Heard your new aids are working, he said, all ease. Karen nodded, cheeks pink. Your car's quiet, she mumbled. It was the closest she'd get to sorry. Mike grinned. Want to try the passenger seat? The crowd gasped, then clapped. Karen, egged on by Betty, climbed into the Tesla. Mike drove her around the block, silent as a dream. Karen's face softened. No jet engines, no freight trains. Just peace. When they returned, she muttered, "Nice car," and grabbed a spatula, demoted to grilling duty. The neighborhood roared approval. Betty whispered to Mike, "She's embarrassed, but grateful." Mike shrugged. "As long as she stops fining my mailbox." The barbecue rolled on, a Sunny Acres love fest. HOA members, emboldened, voted to cap Karen's powers, making her share the gavel with Mr. Jenkins. Karen, flipping hot dogs, didn't fight it. Her hearing aids had humbled her, and Mike's kindness sealed the deal. Jake's final Youtobe, captioned, "Karen Grills, Tesla Chills," showed her laughing, actually laughing with neighbors. It hit 1 million views. As the sun set, Mike and Jake cleaned up, high-fiving. "You're the HOA whisperer," Jake said. Mike laughed. "Just wanted a quiet life." Across the street, Karen sat on her porch, sipping lemonade, her red visor retired. She waved at Mike, a small gesture of truce. He waved back. The Tesla, gleaming under a streetlight, stood as the neighborhood's silent hero. Sunny Acres was whole again, its lawns pristine, its mailboxes regulation. Karen's clipboard gathered dust, and Mike's burgers became legend. The news van swung by one last time, filming the banner, "Where Teslas Whisper." Jake, now Youtobe famous, grinned at Mike. "Next time, we take on the gnome police." Mike groaned, but his smile said it all. Bring it on. Sunny Acres glowed under the sunset, laughter echoing from Mike's barbecue. Karen, tamed at last, flipped hot dogs with a rare smile. Mike's silent Tesla, once the eye of the storm, now symbolized peace. Jake with his million-view video, winked. HOA, Karen's officially chill. Mike raised a glass, relieved. Neighbors united, drama gone. The takeaway? Don't rush to judge. Listening and understanding can diffuse any conflict, even with a Karen. Live kindly like Mike. Laugh often like Jake. Loved this story? Smash that like button, share with your crew, and spread the good vibes. Sunny Acres did it, and so can you. Big thanks for tuning in. You rock.